Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's Black Lives Matter discussion. We're very happy to be here. And today we're going to talk about women of color and leadership. So, as you know, tomorrow is, what day is it? The 20th of January, 2021. And it's going to be the investiture of the new US President, Joe Biden, and his Vice President, Kamala Harris. And she's going to be the first Black woman to take this role. And the one who's going to, I don't know how to say, present her, at the investiture is the first Black woman of the Supreme Court. And so this is really symbolic and really meaningful, especially in this time. And so, yeah, we wanted to discuss women of color in leadership today. And as we settled on the subject, we kind of identified an upset. As you can see, a few members of the discussion are missing today, and some of them are the Black women of our group, of our very own group. And so we definitely feel that there is something to heal. And if I speak for myself, what I can feel is that kind of a discomfort about this subject. I guess it's a discomfort about being seen for who I am, and I guess in general a discomfort that the community is experiencing with leadership, like claiming our leadership. And so it manifested for us Black women today. And there are definitely a few things to heal before tomorrow. And yeah, I would like to know what do you guys feel about tomorrow, about the topic?
Well, I know it's like really, like, I'm probably gonna cry. I've cried already about it. But like seeing that representation after like so many years of like marginalization and oppression, just like, whoa, it feels really good. And yeah, and I also just wanted to add, like, to clarify, like, about the Supreme Court judge, so Sonia Sotomayor. She's not a Black woman, but like, it's U.S. stuff, so you're probably unfamiliar with it. She is the first ever woman of color, and she is, I believe, Latina. So yeah, she's pretty cool. And I love that, like, I'm seeing like women in power, which it feels so good. It just feels so right. And I'm like, finally. And yeah, I'm loving it.
Yeah, for me, I'm like really happy about it. I think it's something that like I've been wanting to see like within my government for a long time. We like almost got there with Hillary, and I think that there was some stuff that still needed to be healed, which is why we end up, I think, the US chose contrast. very, very heavy duty contrasts to experience this healing. You don't always need to choose contrast, but I think that's just what our consciousness chose, so that we could uproot anything left over of not feeling like women could hold power, right? And yeah, like to see not only that these women are coming into office for me and just being like, oh my God, yay, women are coming into office, but like actually seeing them for the talent that they are, besides just being women or of being color, like being seen as Kamala Harris, the one who was an amazing senator of her state and or whatever, like all these different attributes that make her great. I think sometimes that kind of happens like in the media and like in in the world, like it's a like the token Black person, like, oh, we finally got someone into the office, or like we added Kamala onto the ballot because she's, a woman of color and, whatever. But like, I truly and honestly am excited because it feels like it's just becoming normalization. And that's what I'm most excited about, is a normalization of having women and people of color in office, and it not because it's like you're trying to make sure that you're diverse or something, but just because that's just naturally how everything goes. There is no like thought process around that. And so that's where I'm kind of feeling that level of I don't want to say excitement, but like I'm feeling empowered by the fact that like we're coming to a level of unionism where we don't feel like we have to force it or control it, but that it's truly just happening naturally. And like the fact that I didn't even know that like all these different offices, like we've talked about in the chat, like trans people, gay people, Black, Latina, young people, older people. And like, it just seems like there's such a diversity happening within our country right now in politics, which I never thought would happen. And so to see that happen on more of like a natural basis and not something that feels controlled is just, so beautiful to me. And I think it's a testament to the work that we do as unionists every day.
It's the cabinet that Joe Biden has is like very contrasting compared to Trump's cabinet. There's a lot of white men. And also like I just read that like Biden is overturning a lot of like the horrible things Trump has done. And like discriminating against like trans people and like climate, Paris climate thing, and it just feels like a lot more like relief. Like I feel like our country's been in like a state of like for a while. Like it's very interesting seeing like the contrast. Like I was at the Women's March 4 years ago with a lot of angry women. Like the largest, I think, largest march in Washington like ever. And now like women are seeing themselves represented again, because we were like, this is not happening anymore. We're not letting like sexual assaulters in office, and we don't want to like have our power like taken away anymore, or like that illusion be taken away anymore. No more bullshit. We want like a government where we're represented and where we're treated with equity, and yeah, it's feeling a lot better.
Yeah, so the thing that comes up for me is kind of the sense that there seems to be a greater level of harmony amongst male and female leadership at higher levels, which is kind of the symbolism that we're seeing with the Biden-Harris ticket kind of thing, right? So for me, I kind of want to delve into the feeling of, are we kind of just settling into that feeling of harmonized leadership here? And if we aren't, what is stopping us from settling into that feeling of harmonized leadership here?
I am so happy you're bringing this up, like so happy, because what I've taken notice to just being within the Twin Flames community, you know, and having male and female, like masculine and feminine, like partnerships, not even just like with me and my twin flame, you know, Anastasia. I've also partnered with Marlene multiple times, right? And so like it, you know, and other women within the community on projects. And I find that it, whenever you pair the two, it always just creates such a unified balance in how a task is done. It's not even just in the perspectives, but like what happens is like the divine feminine is always like holding the vision, right? And can like clearly state the vision. And the masculine is very grounded and is able to like present. And I see that within this, like these two, this duo, right? Within Kamala and Joe. It's like Joe will like present like what it is that's going to happen and things like that. And I can feel like the ooey gooeyness of like the vision that Kamala gives him, right, in the center.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like you can tell like some of the things that he's saying comes from what Kamala is bringing to the table.
Yes.
Right? And so it does, there is a sense where this partnership feels very similar to one of, you know, twin flames who are in union. Now, they're not twin flames, like that's very obvious, but it's like, I feel like there is this choice of harmony, like you said, where men and women are being seen as equal, and there is a relationship that is being built, and truly what a vice president and president relationship would look like. And I think it's great because I think in the future, I really think we're going to start to see actual twin flame couples running a country. I truly think that that's what's going to happen because it's going to feel so much more peaceful and harmonized by having that experience. I think this is like the first step to that kind of evolution. So I love it.
It's like we've come a long way since, like, wasn't there a time where like women weren't even allowed to
vote?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, like for me, that directionally, it feels a lot more like union, like unionism and union in that space of leadership. And yes, I agree with you. I kind of have the sense that at some point, very many things will be run by harmonious union twin flames.
Yeah.
Right. And the sense I'm getting from this combination is also the harmony amongst races working together in the leadership space.
Yes.
Which is like, you know, it's like that next step. That next step of the world kind of choosing love more at the core.
Yeah, because Joe is like a typical white guy, right? Like typical old white guy who grew up in a time where, you know, it was not common to have this kind of experience. But guess what? He spent 8 years with, and probably a lot more because there's a time where they were running before that too, with Brock, right? And got to experience and partner with a, you know, a Black male, right? And start to heal some of that. Now he's partnering with a woman of color where now he's doing both, right? So he's really truly, like, I see Joe really healing for white men and their relationship with all, and having that unionism perspective. So yeah, I love what you're saying.
Yeah, and you know, it's kind of that sense of greater inclusivity. That hasn't really been there before. And yes, I'm not in the US, but like following it and kind of seeing some of these posts going on, you know, like the inauguration post I found on LinkedIn, for instance. and it's in a place, it's in one of the places that speaks to female leadership. So it was quite profound to see that the first woman of color in the Supreme Court will be instrumental in swearing in the first woman of color in the vice president role in such a big country. Because let's also understand that by population standard, the US is quite big.
And I didn't really put my finger on it before, but when Marty said that it feels right, just like there's something that just feels right, I feel like the US is generally closer to their natural political balance here. It feels like a rebalancing of the political field. And so it gives way to a lot of things, like it gives way to this peaceful joy that we're experiencing. It also gives way to upheaval and uprooting what is left, and it also gives way to like somewhat clearing a debt of 4 years of maybe accrued discrimination in the country, and that's what Joe Biden is showing through his partnership with his vice president, but also in the way is already taking their leadership roles into his own hands and trying to undo some of the things that Trump had done in the past few months. And it feels really meaningful that they like both are already claiming their leadership role in such a powerful way, and it gives even more meaning to what is going to happen tomorrow, And so I think everyone can feel like this is just the balance of things, which just feels like this is the right way. Like it's, yeah, you can feel it like in your heart, in your emotions, and it's expressed through what we've seen on social media and yeah, what we've seen with like the office, like Washington's office.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to like go a little deeper into like that rebalancing, because like we've been very imbalanced like forever basically in this country and around the world too, but yeah, like there's a feeling of, I think, unwelcomeness to be worked through for people of color, for Black women. That's always been the case. Like women of color were kicked out of both of the women's movements. Majorly like kicked out. Like there was still like stuff going on with like Black women in the voting rights movement and the second movement in America, but like yeah, like I don't want that happening anymore. I don't want like Black women being kicked out and feeling unwelcome. So yeah, like what do you guys feel about that?
So I actually I have a question for you, and I suppose it's kind of on a more background level. When you say both women's movements, what are those things?
Yeah, well, like the first like women's movement was like just getting the right to vote. That was in like 1920, 1918, 1920 area. And yeah, basically like all women were like in it together in the beginning. They were like, let's get the right to vote. And then white women were like, let's kick out the Black women because we're not going to get the right to vote if we include Black women with us. So like civil rights era, like then that's when Black people were actually able to vote in the country. When you might be familiar with that with like MLK. It is MLK Day yesterday. And then the second women's movement was like women being able to having the right to have like reproductive rights, like having abortion, women in the workplace, like that kind of stuff. That happened with like Gloria Steinem, if you're familiar with her. She was like a prominent leader in that era. It's like in the 70s. And that like I think coincided around with like the Black Power movement, which I think Black women weren't really included with a lot of like the women's rights stuff going on. I'm not as familiar with it. I think like there was definitely stuff going on, but like I mostly heard about white women during that time, and I think the Black women focused more with their rights and Black Power movement, but I'm not totally sure about that. So you'd have to do your research. I need to do my research, but that's basically.
That's cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, like thank you, because like I think the background in certain instances allows us to understand a narrative that has led to feelings. And if we understand feelings and ill feelings, we can understand the places that need to be healed. And that's the reason why I'm asking the question.
Yeah, totally. That's why I love history, because it shows us our blocks. Like, don't repeat this history, guys. Let's heal it now. Yeah.
So yeah, like if you feel into that space, do you potentially have a fear of a repetition of that history?
Like I guess so, yeah. Like I don't want more. Like I guess there's like a part of me that's like I don't want more like exclusion. I just like I want everyone to be included.
Right. So what's your upset here?
Like a fear of like excluding myself.
Mm-hmm. And can you feel that? Can you see that part of you that has that fear of excluding yourself?
Yeah.
And what does she need to feel that right now?
To know she's welcome.
Anything else?
And that she's accepted.
Mm-hmm. Anything else?
Well, yeah, she just wants a hug.
Is there a feeling of grounding into your worthiness that needs to happen as well?
Yeah.
Mm. And how does that feel?
Feels good. Like, yeah, like I definitely am worthy of belonging in society and in leadership roles. And
absolutely.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, that feels good.
Does it feel complete?
Yeah, it feels good.
Well, okay, so it feels good. Does it feel complete? Is there an opportunity to go deeper here?
Well, I guess I should look a little deeper.
Okay, so you can let go of the narrative of what you should do and just feel what you need to do or feel if it's complete. There's no obligation in this space to be anything other than you with your feelings right now.
Yeah, I think that's it. Like I just want to be me. I don't want to be a man to be a leader.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. That feels complete.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
So Yoreen, well, before we go to Yoreen, because she brought up a piece before we moved on, but Marley, your card is forgiveness. And it's a topic that came up last week as well. And basically it says, you are now able to activate the power of love in order to release past hurts.
Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. And so there's a piece that Yoreen brought up that was in the space of a little bit of discomfort and also a little bit of not being free to say what you need to say at the time when you need to say it. So you held back a piece of what you wanted to say for a later opportunity. What was that feeling about?
I don't think I held back consciously. I didn't have words to express it at the time, and now I do. So what I feel is, and the reason also why Kenisha and Kalida are not here today is because as Black women, we are constantly shut down because of who we are and how we look. And also because I think the other side of the same coin is that we want to protect ourselves from further pain by excluding ourselves willingly. Because, like, if this whole thing fails, I have a fear that it's gonna be another attack on Black women. Because
is there a feeling of an inability to be successful in all those spaces with all your endeavors?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess, yeah, I'm just shutting myself in fear.
Yes,
or
because
trying to resist
the fear of failure in that space.
Basically.
Right? Oh. So if you felt into that space, what is the actual upset?
I don't want to be hurt by showing who I am.
And if you're not showing up as who you are, what are you doing?
Hiding.
Right. So can you see that part of yourself that feels like she needs to hide?
Yeah.
Now, what is she hiding from?
Pain. Or, yeah, I guess life. I guess she associates life with pain.
Right. So where does the life come from? And who does the life come from?
From God.
And would God want you to experience pain in your life?
No.
So what would God want you to experience?
Love.
Right. So do you choose love in those spaces?
Yeah.
How does that feel?
That feels relieving.
Awesome. And in those spaces, do you choose the success that is your birthright?
Yes.
And as a woman of color, what is it that you are called to do in this lifetime?
To actually lead.
To lead and to love. And you lead and love yourself first in order to be able to lead and love other people. So if you are hiding from your leadership and your love, what are you achieving?
Nothing.
Well, you may be achieving something, but it's probably not as much as you could achieve if you allowed God into that space and took those steps as they were presented to you perfectly. So do you choose to partner with God in this space?
Yeah.
Awesome. What else can you choose in this space that would make you feel loved and peaceful?
I choose to see that I'm worthy.
Mm-hmm. And what can you let go of in order for your worthiness to truly settle in?
Yeah, just to let go of fear.
Awesome. And how does that feel?
That feels a lot better. I feel like I'm still feel a little bit tight in the chest area.
What is that tightness about?
Might be resistance.
Is the resistance serving you?
No.
Are you comfortable to let go of that resistance?
Yeah.
So what was the resistance pointing to?
I guess I am living my life based on sufferings instead of love.
Do you choose to let go of the suffering and call in your divine support here?
Yes.
So that you can make choices related to love.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
It feels good.
Good. Does it feel complete?
Yeah, it does.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
And so your card is virtue. You acknowledge your loving spiritual attributes that encourage others to grow. Can you see that? Very cool. Yeah, so one of the things that happened when we actually opened up the Zoom call was that we had a technical challenge. And in that feeling that I was experiencing, it was like, I have to get this done. I have to get this done. People are depending on me and we're not going live and people are waiting for us. And so my feeling was almost a sense of, I must. Whereas the sense that I think I should have had and that I'm feeling into now is that I enjoy and that it's peaceful to lead in this space. And that it's peaceful that sometimes technical things get in the way, but that does not mean that we're not serving our purpose. So kind of feeling into that space. One of the feelings I have is just claiming divine support and claiming peacefulness in the space. And also, I think it kind of rounds up with what all of you were saying around just the joy of experiencing the shift and the balance and the support and the change, which I feel like sometimes is something we don't focus on because we're always looking to the next thing that we need to do. And I think part of what we're doing here is also just kind of grounding into the fact that we are becoming more balanced in this conversation. And we are experiencing shifts around us in our reality because of the healing in this space. And what we haven't done as a team is just kind of a little bit of celebration and appreciation of ourselves in this space. So I just want to say, thank you everybody for the months of just showing up and being here and the willingness to heal in a space that may have been very uncomfortable for very many people, and demonstrating the power of unionism in this space. How do you guys feel about that?
Let's celebrate.
I think it's time, it's not that self-gratifying pat on the back. It's just appreciation that the work works, and we have been doing the work.
Totally. Like in group coaching yesterday, like my coaches told me, like, you can stop and celebrate. Like you can like it's okay to like enjoy the good feeling that you're feeling and like be really present with that. And that's so true. Like I like often am like that. Like I just, let's go to the next thing. Let's go to the next thing. Like it's so important to slow down and just like be like, wow, we've done a lot of work to get where we are, and it's okay to really embrace that. So it's, yeah, thank you for bringing that up.
I don't know if you guys recognize this, but we've been having this conversation for 6 months now.
And it's juicy every time.
And we don't run out of opportunities to heal either, right?
Yeah. I love coming and I love healing and love you guys. It's been so fun.
It has been fun. And I think one of the things that's an opportunity to go into now is just that feeling that there are women of color in this group that were unable to show up for the opportunity of women of color healing into claiming their leadership at a deeper level. And I don't think that it's coincidental that it happened. I do believe that there may be a feeling amongst women of color of not being able to have it all, and that some things need to be sacrificed in order for other things to be achieved. And I want to specifically ask Anastasia and Yoreen if there's that level of, if that's a kind of a sense of something that sits there in the background as a kind of icky feeling. How do you ladies feel about that?
I think, yeah, I definitely relate to that feeling in some part of me. I think it's because we were taught that from the get-go that we couldn't have it all. And so we were used to kind of settling with what we could have, even though it's an illusion.
Mm.
And so it feels, every time it feels like a struggle with ourselves to break the glass ceiling.
Mm.
So yeah.
And what does that thought process bring up for you in terms of feelings?
It feels good to acknowledge that, and I think I'm having compassion for myself because I guess it was one of the layer of suffering that was on top of everything.
Mm. And if you feel into the space where things needed to be sacrificed in order for other things to be achieved, what does that bring up for you?
It feels incomplete, and it feels a little bit exhausting.
Mm. And what would actually alleviate that feeling? What do you need to feel loved in that space right now?
I feel I need lightness and freedom.
You choose your lightness and freedom in this place.
Yeah.
And how does that feel?
It feels like I just opened the tap of God here.
Awesome. Does it feel complete, or is there anything else there? Or would you just
I,
like to allow that feeling to ground in for a little bit?
I think there's something else.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it was just coming up to be released. So maybe grounding.
Let's just settle into the feelings there and see if it's actually grounding or if there is something else. How are you feeling?
Okay. I feel like my inner child is sad for having been abandoned in that space.
Mm-hmm. So if you were to properly project the upset, what is it?
I feel abandoned.
Right. And so taking that next step, where are you abandoning yourself?
Yeah.
And so what do you need to feel connected, loved, and not abandoned?
Mm. And to give myself acceptance.
Right. And can you claim yourself completely in that space?
Yeah.
Because the truth of it is you can't be abandoned in a space where you haven't been claimed, right?
Yeah.
Right. So do you just choose to completely claim yourself now?
Yeah. I choose to.
And how does that feel?
Feels good. Feels complete.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
So your card says release. You have the ability to give over unwanted energies to the loving forces of the universe.
It feels very on point.
Felt very on point for me as well. So Anastasia, I want to come to you because you kind of disappeared for a second there. I was like, what is happening? Another woman of color's disappearing on us.
Yeah, there's just other stuff coming up to take care of that. So I didn't even know what you were talking about, to be honest.
So yeah, so one of the things that we were just feeling into is that the feeling that as a woman of color, you have to sacrifice certain things in order to have other things, which kind of played out perfectly in that minute when you were actually not able to be there.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of a repetitive feeling coming up in this space. So what does that mean for you, and how do you feel about that?
Sad. Yeah.
And what is that sadness pointing to?
Just like just that I feel like I like it's harder or something, like that it's like not equal. I mean, it kind of relates to that like whole scandal where like all those white people were just getting into college because their parents were doing all these this sketchy shit. That type of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So that feeling of harder.
Powerlessness.
Right. So all of those things, are they your divine birthright as a perfect and divine child of God? Are they?
Yeah, I mean, because God sees us all equally.
Right. So all of those things, all that powerlessness and that sadness and the hardness is not your divine birthright as a perfect
Correct.
child of God. Right?
Right.
Right. So what do you choose to call into your reality as a perfect and divine child of God?
Just for it to be easy.
Good. And your power?
Yeah, I claim my power.
Right. You claim your ease and you claim your fun
Yeah.
and you claim your birthright, which is abundance in all areas. There should be no sacrifice in any area.
Yeah.
So do
Yeah,
you want
you're right.
go ahead and love up all those areas of your life where you have just claimed all of this for yourself?
Yeah.
And so what is the upset that you're feeling now, or are those tears of joy?
I think it's just that I'm feeling my feelings because it's the same upset that I did happen to hear Urine talk about, where she said she felt abandoned, and So obviously I had abandoned all of that, all of the abundance and power, I abandoned myself and claiming that for myself.
Awesome. Because the truth is, you can't be abandoned in a space where you haven't been claimed.
Mm.
And so you can perfectly claim yourself and all of your abundance. Because you're a powerful co-creator in your own reality. You have that power.
Yeah.
And so one of the things I would like to invite everybody inside of this call to do is to remember that you are divine and that you can claim your abundance here.
Mm.
And so, Anastasia, how are you feeling now?
I feel a lot better. Definitely upheavally.
Oh, but that's cool.
Yeah.
Upheaval is the fun part. It's like, okay, big
Yeah.
Big gone ill feelings, you don't belong here. So upheaval is the fun part, right? Because you know that the healing is settling in when you start upheaving. It's just things that don't belong there, just swiftly moving along and away from you.
Yeah.
Right. So how are you feeling now?
Overall, I feel pretty peaceful about all this. I just need to get a tissue.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel a lot better.
Awesome. Are you feeling complete?
Thank you.
Would you like to go just a little deeper?
Sure. We can go deeper.
Mm-hmm. Just feel that feeling. Just feel that next feeling.
It's just like pain is the only way to describe it, or like I have to suffer is what's coming up.
And is that narrative not the illusion?
It's
the truth
yeah.
What's the truth in this place?
That I don't have to.
Right. And so what do you choose in this place?
Yeah, I choose to let go of suffering. I choose
yeah.
And it's like ease again. Or like happiness.
Do you choose your joy right now?
Yes. Yes, I choose joy here.
Because I have the sense that you have lost sight of your joy. And I want to invite you to reclaim it.
Okay. That's a good invitation.
So how do you feel now?
I have sadness coming up.
What is the sadness about?
I guess just it's just sad that I lost my joy.
Sad that you may be judging yourself in any way?
Yeah, I choose to forgive myself.
Very good. How does that feel?
It feels relieving.
Does it feel more? Do you feel more centered?
Yeah, I feel more peaceful after all of that. It's like it's like really, I don't know, it just never ceases to amaze me like how much more you can like do to heal.
But also how much more you can do just in being you and allowing your peace to expand as God wants it to.
Yeah, that's a good way of saying it.
Just allow your
Amen.
expand. You don't have to hold on to the bad feeling. You can actually, as Marley said, enjoy the good feeling. How does that feel?
Just feels peaceful.
Yeah. And the reason why I say yes, because I felt that peace with you. Like my
Oh, good.
settled a little bit more. I was like, this chick's doing the right thing, yeah.
We are one.
We are one, right? Awesome.
I love that.
How does that feel? Are you feeling complete in this space?
Yeah, I am. I don't.
Yeah.
I was like, do I have anything to say? But yeah, I feel pretty good. Thank
There's
you.
no need to say something. You can
Yeah.
not say something if you don't want to say something.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. So we are actually at our hour. That has kind of gone so quickly. I looked at it and I was like, what just happened? But yeah, just our last card is gratitude. So thank you, everybody. It just says you fully appreciate the invaluable lessons that life lovingly presents to you. So I also want to thank everybody who has followed us in our live discussion today, who shared their thoughts and insights with us. We definitely do read them. So yes, thank you everybody for joining us. We'd like to invite you to join us again next week as we continue our conversation. But also please like and subscribe to our Church of Union YouTube channel, where you will find all our previous conversations around why Black Lives Matter. And please feel free to post any questions and recommendations around further topics in our Unionism Spiritual Discussion group. And we will see all of you next week. Thank you, everybody.